Hey witches, so I just really wanted to sit down with you guys today. It's pretty early in the morning right now, I guess. I'm kind of just like still waking up and getting ready. But I wanted to take some time today just to kind of go over like how I personally hid my witchcraft from people. And I want to put this out as a resource for anyone who is in the broom closet. I don't want to come across like I'm encouraging you to like disobey anybody, especially if you're a minor. But this is just how I did things. I just wanted to share it because I got away with it, so obviously it worked, but everyone's situation is different. Please don't practice witchcraft if it's not safe for you to do so. I don't want anybody getting hurt or getting kicked out of someone's house. I know that, I have faced religious bigotry. I have had horrible, horrible experiences with people who believed I was possessed by the devil, but I mean, they could be right. I have no idea. I do look like this, so, but I'm not advocating for minors to lie to their parents in any way. Did I do all of this when I was a minor? You betcha. But kids, if you're watching this, anyone under the age of 18, please don't do anything that good and well you're not supposed to do. So, ways I hid my craft, my altar. I have literally never hid my altar. I don't know how I got away with it growing up. I really don't. I've been collecting skulls for years, probably since like the 8th grade. So like probably about as long as I've been doing witchcraft, not quite as long. But I used to have this like awful Halloween like tablecloth that like had spider webs all over it. If you like look back at past videos, I'm sure you can see it peeking out from behind a bookshelf. In fact, I'm like 100% sure you can. But anyways, it doubled as an altar cloth, but it also like allowed me to hide all of my witchcraft stuff under the table. So like it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind. They didn't really look twice at it. On top of this like hideous polyester nightmare, I had like a bunch of skulls and herbs and my tarot cards. I don't know why they were also okay with tarot cards. I got these like when I was 12. I like got my grandmother bought them for me. Because I said I liked the religious art and we had just gone to like a museum. It was like at the Met in New York, I think. Yeah. And we had seen, oh my gosh, yeah, I got those tarot cards the first time I ever saw like a McQueen exhibit, which is like really funny that I'm just realizing this. That day was very pivotal for me apparently, but I literally was just like, I like the religious art on it, and which isn't a lie by the way, if anyone knows me, like they know I love medieval Christian art. Literally have Dante, the guy who wrote the Divine Comedy, tattooed on me and prints of him and statues of him all over my house. But anyways, I was able to get away with it by saying it was a nature table. And I kind of kept it out of sight as well. Like I said, it was behind like this really big bookcase that was not quite floor to ceiling, but it was taller than I was. So it was kind of out of sight, and they never like looked at it. I guess just because they didn't see it. So I don't know. They probably just were like, it's fine. So I was lucky that I didn't have to like hide an altar. I just didn't call it what it was, and they were kind of like, oh, you're just like goth and weird, and this is like goth and weird, and there's spider webs, so we don't want to deal with this. And they kind of just let me be. So I was really lucky in that sense. So if you're going to go the route of having a windowsill as your altar, I recommend decorating it purely with like plants and crystals, maybe a candle or two if you feel safe doing that, because I feel those are pretty standard items of decor these days. We're really lucky. Like if you're getting into witchcraft like now, you are like vastly lucky, because a lot of people don't question that sort of like plants are really popular again. Like having tons of plants is like super popular, and like collecting crystals and like crystal healing is like really, really popular right now. So like a lot of people won't question that. They'll just think it's decor, but it can be a functional altar. So my second tip is to go to the library. Like if you can, please go support your local library. I know that things are kind of closed right now, but hopefully we are returning a little bit to the point where you can go to your local library. If not, there are tons of like free resources through your local library, so you can at least sign up for a card and use their like online resources. So there's tons and tons and tons of ebooks out there about witchcraft for free. So if you don't have the money to go out and buy books, if you don't have the ability to go into your local library in person, you can read ebooks. When I was a teenager, I lived in the library. The way my town was set up, like our library was like near a shopping center. So when I was like, when I say teenager, I'm talking like 14, so like I was allowed to go places by myself, kind of. But my mom would like drop me off I just couldn't drive, so my mom would drop me off at the library, and like I don't want you to think she was like neglecting me. Like I was fine. I was such a good kid. I literally just wanted to go to the library. It was so nerdy, but I would like go there and I would check out a ton of books and I would like read them all in a week because I was like that gifted, talented kid. And I haven't read a book in years now, so fine, it's cool. I'm just burned out. But every so often I would like sneak a witchcraft book in that stack. Pretty easy because I at that time was reading all of those like gothy kind of like alternative like young adult novels about vampires and stuff. Anyways, if it was like particularly witchy like that, and I didn't feel comfortable bringing it home, I would just like read it at the library and put it back. If you're worried about like reading about witchcraft or like people finding books, you could go to the library. If you're worried about someone going through your search history or something, you can go to the local library and use a public computer and print out the resources. Yes, does it cost like 10 cents to print something? Sure, but you know, it's an option. So I know that's hard right now to get into libraries, but as soon as you can, please go support your local library. Number 3. My Book of Shadows. Let's talk about that. If you guys watched my broom closet video, you will remember that I mentioned that my dad used to like sweep my room for drugs and stuff, which was so stupid because I was literally such a good kid. Like, it just didn't cross my mind to do any of that kind of stuff. And I also had like 3 friends who were also just like good kids. Like, I am the eldest daughter. Like, I just never did anything bad. And anyways, one time he found like my Book of Shadows and like rifled through it and was like, this is blasphemy, and like threw it out. Missed everything else, like missed all of my tarot cards, missed like all of my witch shit, like just missed it. But the book I had spent hours and hours on and like had hand illustrated and painted and handwritten and like done. Like it, even if it wasn't like, oh, even if he was upset about the witchcraft part of it, sure, I get that, but like it was just such a beautiful like art book. Anyways, yes, I have talked to my therapist about this, by the way. Yes, I know there's a lot to unpack there, but for a really long time since then, I like just haven't had a Book of Shadows, and I think part of that is because I'm afraid someone's going to throw it away again because it was like very traumatic for me. I'd spent so much time on it. Anyways, I don't even know that I have a complete one. After he found all of that stuff, I just started committing everything to memory. I'm really lucky that the internet exists because I could look up correspondences if I needed to. Also, again, like I had Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. I don't know how they missed that, but they found the one thing that I like worked. Anyways, when I go to the Renaissance Festival, I want to get like a really nice leather-bound book and create an actual Book of Shadows, page by page. That I want to create a Book of Shadows that every single page will be related to one of my videos. So there will be a total of 366 pages. Does that make sense? It's hard to explain, but I have a lot of notes like in the Notes app on my phone that I've had for years, and I remember things by reading them. So if I read something, I can usually like remember it pretty well, and by continuously practicing, you get into the habit of doing things. So again, I've gotten this far without a true Book of Shadows. A lot of witches don't. A lot of people have like a Google Drive or like a Word document or something that they like type things in. But yeah, I hope that by the end of next year, I will have like my full Book of Shadows because I want to go all out. Beyond that, I used common sense, right? So I didn't burn things in my room that give off a ton of smoke because I knew they would think that I was doing drugs. I would buy lighters in cash, which sounds insane, I know, but like if I was lighting a candle or whatever, they would notice if it was gone from the drawer or like, you know, if something was moved. So I would buy it in cash because they would also look at my receipts to see what I was doing. I know, it's insane, I'm aware, but it's fine, growth, look at me now. If I couldn't do that, I would just get like those like shitty matches from like the junk drawer. You know what I'm talking about, like the ones that are paper and like bend in half anytime you try to strike them. My mom had a ton of candles, like she loved them, and she let me have a bunch every so often, so I would like hoard them and ration them. Like anything that she would give me, like it didn't matter the color, I would find a use for it. So I still have some. I I would just scroll for like hours and hours and hours on Witch Tumblr, which, yes, I know is cringy, but I learned a lot from it in that, like, I knew what not to do and found a really great community of witches, some of whom I still talk to today. So don't knock it. Like, I know like Witch Tumblr was really, really cringy, but I learned a lot, and I was introduced to a lot of ideas that I could research further. So anyways, I hope this gives you insight as to like what I did. It's not necessarily like advice, it's just like stuff that I did when I was growing up to kind of like hide my witchcraft, I guess. So just know if you're doing stuff like this, you're not alone. It's pretty normal, and hopefully you don't have such as hard of a situation as I had. Yes, my parents were pretty oblivious, but like also there was a lot of other stuff that was happening. So yeah, just be careful as always, and if you have any questions or need any advice, let me know. Bye.